Hi! Welcome to attempt number 3 at this video. My kitchen's a mess. Look at that. Look at that. Those are dishes from last night. Because this is my life. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a full-time student. I'm so tired. So my cat woke me up at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm heating up my coffee because that's how long this is taking. My coffee got cold. And then Katie decided to find my camera that's on my tripod and knock it over, drag it into the living room, knock it over, while I was trying to shoot my last video. And yeah, so here we are, heating up coffee. Hello! Oh, look, it's Dumbo. Because Disney makes everything better. So, in honor of it no longer being Halloween, I'm having a peppermint mocha, a keto peppermint mocha. Because, I don't know, why not? Anyways, we're gonna go into the living room. Oh my gosh. So, I'm gonna try and sit down here. My house is a mess. It is a disaster. I need to go shopping. That's a totally different subject, but I need to go shopping and I need to clean my house. Maybe I should clean my house before I go shopping. I don't know. And I still have homework to do. I have to watch an episode of Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant. And I know you're like, okay. For my child and adolescent psychology class, I have to watch an episode of one of those shows and answer questions. And I've never watched either of those shows for a reason. Not that I'm against teen pregnancy or, being a young mom. I know some excellent young moms. But some of these reality TV shows, not just those in particular, but it's trash. It's just trash TV, and I can't handle it. But that's just one woman's opinion. Anyways, so yeah, drinking my peppermint mocha because pumpkin spice season is over in my mind, and I need it to be Christmas time. I know it's November 3rd, and some people think peppermint spice lasts through Thanksgiving, and you know what? It might, but not today. So yeah. Jesus, I'm a mess. I've already showered. I've been up since 5 because my cat woke me up. Did I say that? My cat woke me up at 5 o'clock this morning, like the little shit that he is, and gave me a chance to shower and stuff before my kid even woke up. So that's great. But now I'm tired. And yeah. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about mental health. Yeah. Hi, my name is Shelley and I'm bipolar. I've only not recently, but in the last couple years, accepted that I am bipolar. And it's not that I diagnosed myself. I was actually diagnosed with it back when I was like 13. I spent a majority of my adolescence being medicated, and I think it was because of that I acted out a lot. Not that I'm against being medicated. I don't even like to call it that, but I don't think that I don't think that all mental health problems need to be fixed, because I don't think that they're all problems. A dog. A dog, that's right. I think all right, so I'm going to back up a second. Mental health. A lot of, I don't even want to say a lot of people. I know that there are people out there that view mental health as something that needs to be fixed, whether it be depression or bipolar or whatever. I mean, borderline personality. There's so many different things to it, and I don't think it all needs to be fixed. ADHD. Oh, prime example. Albert Einstein. He had ADHD, guys. I mean, he wasn't diagnosed back in the day because that wasn't a thing. They didn't have Adderall back in the day either, and he was one of the most brilliant minds, and he had ADHD. Okay. It's not something that has to be fixed for everyone. I think that I think that we as a society like to normalize things, and anything that doesn't fit into our box of normal is something that's broken. And I don't think that we all need to be fixed. Um, Obviously, there are varying degrees. You can have a room of with 20 people in it, all with depression, and each person presents their depression in different ways. They feel it in different ways. It affects them differently because, yeah, there may be some similarities, but everyone is different. We're all different, and we all respond differently to different things. And um, I have someone in my family who suffers from severe clinical depression. He has to be on medication just to get out of bed in the morning. And it's sad. Um, but I know that medication is his solution, his one of his only solutions to function in life. And he has to have his medication fixed, or not fixed, but adjusted and altered on a regular basis because his body adapts to it. And it's his lifelong battle that he has to deal with. Um, so there are people that have, you know, severe problems where it affects their ability to function, it affects their relationships, it affects the way that they behave and treat people. And yes, there's those that may require pharmaceuticals, but not everyone. Um, I have a real problem with treating children, children especially in adolescence. Their minds are changing, and it's their whole chemical makeup, especially when they're going through puberty and adolescence. It's just their whole way of thinking and everything is just changing all the time. And you want to medicate that? Come on. Like, you can seriously alter their whole brain chemistry. um, if you have an hour in your life that you want to learn more about this, um, there is a YouTube video. It's not a YouTube video, but it's on YouTube. It's a documentary called The Medicated Child, and I had to watch it for my psychology class, and it is incredibly eye-opening. Incredibly eye-opening. The Medicated Child, watch it. It's an hour, but it's not it's not something that you're just going to be like, oh my God, is it done yet? It sucks you in, and it is eye-opening to the world of pharmaceuticals and mental health. Again, I am not against medicating people that need it. I just don't think that everyone who has a mental health um, difference, I don't know how else to say that because I don't like to call them diseases. Some people just think differently, and I don't think it means that they need to be fixed. um, Children, people with ADD. I mean, there are a lot of brilliant people in the world that had ADHD. I can't talk. Hold on, I need coffee. Jeez, that's good stuff. People that have ADHD, and their minds think differently. They can run a mile a minute. That's pretty slow. That's slow? 100 miles a minute? That's faster? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Their minds work very, very quickly. And when we medicate that quells that slows it down so they don't think in the same way. It's ADHD can be just maybe how they're supposed to be. These brilliant people. And I think about all the children that are being medicated for this, and it makes me wonder how much genius we are stomping out in the world because they don't fit our definition of normal. We need to adjust our world to help them fit in. Um, I mean, and I'm learning to be a teacher, and there are a lot of there are some teachers that may it's frustrating if you have a student who's all over the place and distracted by everything. And yes, they get special attention, and there's special services for a lot of these students, which is excellent. But it's also very important for them to be in the general education classroom with other students. It's good for their social development and everything. And there's some teachers that may go to the parents and say, hey, you need to get this child medicated. They may not say that, but and it changes them. It changes them. It changes the way that they think. And um, I mean, yes, it may make them easier to handle in the classroom, but at what cost? What is the cost? Is it Does it change them? You know, the way that they think about things in the world and their genius. Does it stomp out their innovation because their brains are wired a certain way, and we don't. There's some people that just don't want that to be the case because it's not normal and it's distracting, disruptive to everyone else. No, you adjust their environment. You put them in places, sit them in an area where they won't be distracted. Sit them around students who will help keep them on task. Um, I mean, if you have the students sitting on the floor around you, have that student with you, so they're not in the back getting distracted by things. You keep them, attentive. Um, I spent time with a classroom, and there was a student who, during my time with them, I saw him at the beginning not medicated, and then I found out that he had started medication. This is a kindergarten student, um, and you could see it. You could see how much he had changed, um, and it was kind of heartbreaking. Like, I understand, okay, from the educator standpoint and probably from the parent standpoint, it made him easier to deal with. But we shouldn't just be dealing with people. We should be helping them handle their situation, giving them tools to adapt to the world and just live in it better rather than just saying, "Hey, here, take this pill and you'll be easier to handle." Like, this kid went from being this spunky, outgoing kid to practically falling asleep throughout the day, and that was when his body was adjusting to the medication. He would have to go and sit in the reading corner and take a nap halfway through the day. And as his body adapted to the medication and they adjusted it, that became less so. But he lost his spark, and it was very heartbreaking. I just yeah. So, anyways, I'm now that it's 12 minutes in and I've been rambling about mental health, particularly in children. Me, so I am bipolar, and I've recently discovered that I really am. I really wanted to deny my diagnosis for a long time, thinking that, oh, I'm not this, like it was something bad. I didn't want to admit to myself that, oh, I'm not normal. Guess what, guys? I'm not normal. Known that for years. But um, I think it's only been since I've been a stay-at-home mom. And yeah, I'm busy taking care of her, and I'm busy doing school full time, but I've had more of an opportunity to be self-reflective, um, as opposed to just being in, automatic mode of wake up, go to work, come home, cook, do dishes, do laundry, go to bed, wake up, go to work again. Like, you just kind of get in this routine, and you don't. I wasn't really doing much. Like, I felt like I wasn't living, and I also hated a good part of my job at the time. Um, but so now that I've been a stay-at-home mom, I've really kind of been able to see myself responding to different things in different ways. And I've gone through bouts of depression, and I've always known that I had depression. Oh, goodness, spit. um, but I wasn't recognizing my manic. Hold on a second. Gross. So bipolar, you have ups and downs. It's, yeah, manic depressive. You go through periods where it's the whole world just kind of is heavy. You can't deal with anything. You just sit and just can't function. And then I have my bouts of mania where I get inspired by things and I want to go out and, I want to clean my house and I want to get this done and do that. And I think I went through a bout of mania when I started these videos last week. I think I was within that, because doing a vlog is something that I've thought about in the past, but I really have to get the motivation and inspiration to do it. And I went through a day of just like coming up with lists and doing all this stuff, and I was getting stuff done around the house, and I love my mania. It's I love it. I get so much shit done. Oh my gosh. But that's me. I mean, that's when I was growing up and I was during my adolescent time where I was being medicated, and I went through a ton of different medications and all this stuff, and they were trying different things and just trying to see what worked. I felt like a majority of my youth was spent in a glass box in a busy room where I could see the world around me. I could see, I remember being at school and just sitting at the tables at lunch with my friends all around me and talking, and I just wasn't experiencing life. I felt isolated, even though I was surrounded by people. And I wanted to be isolated, but I didn't. Like it was like I couldn't get out of the box. I couldn't get out of this soundproof glass box. I couldn't interact with the world, and I felt numb. I felt incredibly numb. And I think that was a big reason why I acted out so much, why I was smoking and drinking and doing drugs and running away, and because I wanted to feel something, and I couldn't feel things in the way. What I did feel was just loneliness and despair and confusion. I didn't know how to deal with life, and I didn't know how to function, and it was rough. It was a really rough time in my life, and I wasn't seeing a counselor. I was seeing a psychiatrist who, FYI, a lot of people mix this up. Psychiatrists, psychiatry, those are the guys with the prescription pads. Psychologists are the guys that can diagnose you. Granted, psychiatrists can, but that's not really their. Psychologists are the ones that learn about the study of the brain and behaviors and all that stuff. So they're really kind of the experts on diagnosing people. Therapists and counselors are really where it's at. And if my dad ever watches this, who is a psychologist, he maybe disown me. I don't know. From my experience, I never had someone that I saw growing up, whether it be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, who gave me any tools. They never helped me to deal with what I was feeling and going through, and all they did was give me another medication. And that may not be their fault. It may not be their job to do that. I was just never saw someone who really helped me until I went to Utah. Cross Creek, which I mentioned in the past, heavy, intensive therapy daily, group therapy, individual therapy. I was still on medication, but I was also given tools to deal with my feelings and how to function and how to work through things where I didn't know how to do these things before. And I think that was more valuable to me than any medication I'd ever been on, which is why when I got out of Cross Creek and I came home, my parents still wanted me to be on medication, and I didn't like the idea of medication. I had to take it when I was there. It was one of those, they bring around the med cart type of thing and, check your mouth and make sure you take your medication. When I was home, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I have the tools. I know what I'm doing, but I hated it. And I finally went back to my therapist. Not my therapist, it was my psychiatrist that I'd originally had years ago. So the psychiatrist back home, and I sat down with him and I talked to him. I was like, I know how I'm feeling. I know how to deal with this. I know how to function. I know what I'm doing. I don't want to be on these medications anymore. And He's like, okay. So he weaned me off of them, and I haven't looked back. And I've been fine. It's not that I needed the medication was kind of a tool that was taking place of the actual tools that I needed, which was the knowledge and experience to deal with myself and how to function, and how to, now I recognize when I go through my depressive periods, rather than just sitting and wallowing in it. Yes, baby, what's up? Okay. Oh, fun. All right, I'm 20 minutes into this. It's not good. I don't think I've helped anyone. I don't know. I just talk about mental health and stuff. Anyways, what to take away from this video? First of all, peppermint mocha is delicious. And if you can do it keto, do it keto, because sugar's evil. It's not evil. It's just really not good for you. If you're dealing with mental health, do what works for you. Medication doesn't have to be the answer. It doesn't have to be the answer. Tools. See a therapist, an actual therapist who is there to not just listen to you and write down a diagnosis or a prescription, but someone who is willing to say, okay, let's try this. Let's do this exercise. Let's do this. Let's do this. Someone that's willing to help you fill your toolbox in life, to help you deal with yourself, and so you can look at the world in a different way that makes life wonderful. I don't know how else to say that. Medicating children. Do your research. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because everyone is different. Every child is different. But I strongly urge you to watch a medicated child, first of all, and do your research. One of the things that I needed more than anything during my youth was for someone to just listen to me, talk to me, and connect with me, and help me. Not just, here, take this pill and it's all going to be okay. Because it wasn't. It wasn't okay. Yeah. Mental illness isn't necessarily something that needs to be fixed. We have a world with 7, almost 8 billion people, and we're all different. We're all different. Our brains work differently, just like no two people have the same fingerprints. It's we're all different, and that includes our personalities and our behaviors, and we need to start embracing our differences in those areas as well. I mean, I know that so many people are like, oh, embrace the fatness, because that's what I'm trying to do, while getting healthy and losing weight at the same time. But, like we're all about accepting differences in appearances. But I think that there is still a lot of taboo in regard to mental health, and a lot of people not accepting mental health differences because they don't fit into the normal box. We should embrace it. Embrace these differences and say, hey, this is something that you can use to see the world in a different way. So, all right, I'm going into 25 minutes, so I apologize. Not really, because this is something that is an important topic to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want me to hold on to that? Okay. Yogurt. Yeah. Do some research, guys. And yeah, embrace your own differences. If you struggle with depression or mania or just mood swings or whatever, I mean, if you struggle with that, find ways to look at it differently and embrace it. But also, if it's something that you're not happy with, find a way to make yourself happy. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, especially with depression. It's like, oh, why can't you just be happy? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that happiness takes work. It takes a lot of work sometimes. Some days it takes more work than others. Um, but sitting and wallowing doesn't help. And sometimes I know for some people, you can't do it on your own. So if the only way for you to help yourself is to get someone who's willing to kick your butt, hey, you don't touch my coffee. You don't touch my coffee. Sometimes if the only way to help yourself is to get someone who is willing to help you when you can't help yourself, do that. Find that person that, that's for the person in my family with severe depression. They have someone who has to drag them out of bed some mornings, has to say, no, you put on your clothes and you go to the gym. you need to do this for you. And even when he doesn't want to, she is that person to push him, because he needs that. So if you can't do it on your own, if you can't muster up the energy to help yourself, find someone who will help you. Yeah, do what you got to do. 26.5 minutes and counting. I'm going to shut up now and finish drinking my coffee. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I'm sorry that this wasn't a super happy, cheerful thing, but it was something, it's something near and dear to my heart that I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, happy November. And, look at the world in a way that makes you happy. I don't know how else to say that, but, love you guys. Bye.